Hello, 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 hello. Happy Friday. How is everyone doing today? Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, John. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Rick. I agree, TGIF. I'm glad this week is almost over. Good morning, Odie Green. Good morning, Jake. Good morning, Anissa. All right. So, wrapping up a week. Mark has been traveling higher. Let's see if they can eke out. We've had a little pullback channeling flag patterns. Let's see if they can resolve to the upside. Today we got Michigan consumer sentiment, the preliminary numbers for September coming out at 10 a.m. Eastern, which is really about it. Then we got rig counts. I don't even remember ever looking at a WASD report. That's it. That is it for today. So 10 a.m. could be the only turning point so far. Adobe up nearly 3% after earnings yesterday afternoon. We have Microsoft, Nvidia up, Amazon, Google, Tesla up, Meta slightly. Apple's the only one that's down. Hello, Charles. How are you today? Consumer defensive down. Financials down, but the mega caps are up. Micron's also up, by the way. Comm services, technology, and energy leading. Everything else lagging. Interesting enough. Going into Friday. Could we see some profit taking from the week? Sure, we could. Got to see if we can eke out one more new high in the S&P before that. Fed watch, 92% for the pause. Remember, that's Wednesday next week. 92% for the cut, sorry. Wow, my brain's still in the last meeting. 92% for the cut. One cut, not a 50%, a one cut. Now, and then they have a cut priced in for October and a cut priced for December. Fear and greed at the upper end of neutral. Schiller PE. I wonder if are we going to get over 40? Are we going to get over 40? What was the high from the .com? 44.19. Oh, are we going to get over that? By the way, no earnings today. The only thing yesterday major was Adobe, which is up, as I said before today. So, all good. You could call that selling pressure yesterday in NASDAQ. All right. Well, let's see what I'm looking for today. I think that's why people tune in. It doesn't really matter. Most important thing is to sort of teach a structure, and hopefully people can learn some things. I was watching this channel, this flagging channel pullback. Right now, we're resolving to the upside. My next key little minor level is where we're going to be trading against shortly, probably. This 65.93. We're resolving the upside, but that's the key little stopping point for anything I was looking at. For the upside, that's a key little at least raise to stop from this channel. Above there, again, we had 6,600. I said yesterday, do not ignore 6,600. We stopped dead on 6,600. I would not be surprised if we retackle that this morning, unless consumer sentiment throws a big wrinkle in that. That's what I would not be surprised at. But I get surprised all the time. So I don't have any breakdown plays really. Not going into Friday. Maybe this will make a channeling double top, but we have to get up definitely, and then we'd have to reverse, but we'd have to get up above 65.94 at least, and it would be a really weird double top pattern. So I don't have much bearish. We're with the 1 hour rotation zone. We're with the 4 hour rotation zone. You can see right here with the 8 pushing the price in the 4 hour. Traditionally, these kind of patterns at least resolve the upside to retest the high area. So that's what I'm looking for today. Remember, it is a Friday. It is a Friday after a pretty big up week, so we could see some profit taking. And if we do break to new highs, I'm using the minor harmonics. If it does break out to new highs, I'm looking at 66.03 and 66.06. The next major harmonics is 66.17. So that's what I'm looking at. Hands off on anything if we really start dropping below the bottom of this channel. If we start dropping below the bottom of this channel, then I watch for a retest of the spike low at 4 a.m. Eastern. That's really about it. Again, don't do stupid on a Friday. Please don't do stupid on a Friday. NASDAQ, nice horizontal channel breaking out. You can see here we found key support dipping below here. Dip below here again at that 4 a.m. and then reversed higher. NASDAQ looking like it wants to retest its all-time highs back from middle of August. So that's what we're looking at there. Other than that, the next major harmonic is 24,230. 24, the recent highs were 24,068.50. I mean, there's a this really, now we are very overbought, so I'll be paying attention to that next week. Until then, we're holding the 4-hour rotation zone. We've got, the 1-hour rotation zone, we have the 4-hour rotation zone with the sideways correction and the 8 pushing the price. So I'm just looking for the little break higher. If I use the last little correction, minor harmonics, just to see. If we take out the most recent highs, we got 24,079 roughly, and then 24,111. So those could be areas that at least raise a stop, if not take something off the table at the end, going into the end of today. Can't really do anything bearish unless we start, and again, I won't go bearish today, but I will stop with the bullish case if we start closing, if we do at least a breakdown below 24K again and follow through with a close. I will not be looking for any more bullish setups. Good morning, Heinrich. Good morning, Dark Screen Sleep. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well with you. The Dow. The Dow, I'm not real, we got the 4-hour rotation, so I'm looking at stuff, but this is not my first choice today because 46.1 is key resistance, and then it would just be to retest the recent high area. We bounced off the most recent harmonic and made a sideways correction, but then broke down from there. So I'm really not interested with the Dow. It's moving up right now, but again, key resistance. So actually a little higher than this. It's right around your key resistance, about 46.110. But even above that, 46.150. So the Dow is not one I'd be turning to first for bullish trades. First two are the NASDAQ, then the S&P. The Russell, another little flagging channel pattern, pulling back. Starting to break out the upside, coming against again. This is where, if you're looking at something earlier, this is at least an area I look to raise a stop from, because this is the little plateau. Now that's going to turn into, if I'm going to watch for that to get broken above and then turn into support again. If it can't get broken above, then I got to at least raise a stop. The Russell, again, we take out yesterday's high, 24.30. 24.30 is the next target. The VIX, not much to talk about. Volatility's dipping back down. If you don't have hedges on already, you might want to think about it. I mean, it's pretty much baked in for next Wednesday for the cut, but the cut can also, people think it's just going to be magically bullish. I'm not in agreement with that. We have to wait for topping patterns though, but that's why we have hedges. Nothing going on with the DAX. The yields, I said I was watching today for a bounce pattern. Shorter term, I'm seeing if we make a little head and shoulders here with a flat neckline. Other than that, we have the percent B buy. If this were to trigger today, I'd be looking at Sunday night / Monday morning for a possible entry. This is very oversold with a divergence. And that's for a bounce play only. Because again, it's going against the rotation zone. Crude. Now, I wanted to discuss this. This is a valid 4-hour double bottom, not confirmed or triggered. Would I trade it? I'm still looking at the 64.08 level on a closing basis. It works on the 4-hour. It does not work on the daily. By the way, I am making an audible call. I'm not using these targets. My targets, if we close above the 64.08, are 64.96, and then the end of the clear path move about this 65.65 area. Okay? We are still overall in a big consolidation pattern. So we had a consolidation pattern higher. Now we're making a wider consolidation pattern lower. All right? We're still finding some key support down here. I was watching a little closer to 61.50. Did not happen. But we'd need a close above that 61.08 before I'd be interested in anything right here. Again, it's not the strongest pattern, and I'm not going to use the double targets. All right. Other than that, we're caught in this major just trading range. Hey, Santer. No problem, Sterling. I was getting worried about you, Sterling. I was getting worried, but at least it was only work that got in the way. 2.5% for Russell to make all-time high seems like a magnet. I agree, Christoph. And good morning, Christoph. How are you? I know it's afternoon your time or lunchtime, afternoon time. Thank you for tuning in, Christoph, as always. I really appreciate you being a member of this channel. Gold, still sideways correction. Sideways correction. Closing back above the 62.5 on the 4-hour basis. Again, I'm just looking for still another push higher in price on this. Other than that, not much to talk about. Sideways correction, 8 coming up to push price. By the way, copper, I was looking at again because remember that weekly percent B buy triggered never been stopped and continuing just to grind higher. Now, why I'm pointing that out? Why am I pointing that out? Because I'm keeping an eye on this key low. I'm keeping an eye on this key low. All right? Because technically it could resolve to the downside. It's not the strongest because we have this base in here. It does reverse, though. The second and first targets work, but I would not be going short this. But that's a great stop area. A great stop area, especially since we've returned to the separating weekly rotation zone. So that's why I'm keeping an eye on that key thing from the percent B buy that was triggered back at really the second week in August and just been slowly grinding higher. The dollar index, oops, did not mean to change the color there. Dollar index. Interesting enough, when you look at the weekly, look at all this. There's the selling pressure, but there's also buying pressure down here. Now, it's tried to break down a little, but it keeps popping back above this 97.20. I got to stay in neutral mode now. It's not been able to break down. It hit the 75% harmonic bouncing. It's still getting some pressure in here. So for me, I'm hands off right now at the dollar index, letting this resolve a bit. It does not. It's tried to push down. It's tried to push up, and it keeps, yes, it's got a slight downward pressure, but there's not a lot of great follow-through trades. There's just not. It's actually the contrary trades are the best ones right now. So for me, nothing. Nothing. Euro also. The flip side of that, but again, it broke above this 117.20, reversed back below it, stayed below it, broke above it yesterday, but now looking to dip below it again. I'm watching for some major shift. Maybe we're getting to that longer term. Everybody thinks the dollar is going to go down, but I'm not so sure based off this price action. We don't have any strong patterns yet to trade off of, though. Yes, silver, I did not go over that one this morning, just grinding higher. It just hit the my next key harmonic area. Little sideways correction, 8 pushing the price, hitting the next harmonic. Higher for me. So, That's where I'm sitting right there with silver. There's no topping patterns just yet in there. Spiders, I'm really keeping an eye on those channels with the futures. Spiders, let's see. The high is from yesterday's 658.33, 657.80. The close was 657.63, so above the close. So on any weakness, I watch for that minor gap fill. Other than that, 659.75 to 660 is the next target area. Yes, we are very overbought going into next week. So next week I'm going to be watching for at least some potential topping patterns. But today we don't have anything yet. There is nothing. We have the little channeling flag on the futures, and I got to key off the futures at least until we get through consumer sentiment. Qs, little gap up today. So the first thing would be anything, if there's weakness, would be to the gap fill rollover, 584.08. But the next little magnet is 586.52 to 587.38. Again, overbought. Would not be aggressively chasing this higher. And personally, for anything established today or late yesterday or anytime yesterday, would not be doing a huge carry over the weekend. For longer term stuff, it's fine. Bitcoin, nothing's invalidated the pattern yet still, but I'm looking for a break below this trend line again. Not much to talk about there. Again, Broadcom up to the next little minor, nearly to the next harmonic before pulling back. AI, it's feeding off the next little thing. Keep watching Oracle. Keep watching Oracle. Because Oracle closed below that huge gap up yesterday. Keep watching this because this was an insane move based off of insane guidance. So it closed below that yesterday. This AI is getting tired. I'm now watching this key level over the next week or so, back to this 282 level. 282 is going to be very key for me to watch for this at least a partial gap fill. Natty Gas. I have not looked at Natty Gas in a couple days. It is off this. You're correct there. You are completely correct there. Right off this support. You are right, Rick. I want to look at the weekly on this. I have not looked at Natty Gas for a couple days. Natty Gas could start getting interesting. I'm not so sure we have a strong bottom in yet. There was a percent B buy back from here. And then you have the contract roll. For any bullish thing, just pay attention, Rick. Pay attention if it does break above here. There's a major area right here. There's double harmonic clusters right around 338. So do not ignore that if it can break above 319. 319 is also major resistance. So pay very close to that. We'll see. We'll see if this is a little bounce play. I'm still watching for a bigger pullback and then a very strong bottoming play potentially over the next couple weeks. So, can you pick on Zomedica stock? Zomedica? It's an OTC? Oh boy. Please, dark screen. Oh no. Please, you're not doing this. Can I? It's a penny. I'm not even going to comment. I'll comment on this. You have major resistance at 12 cents. If it breaks through there, your next key area is 15, roughly just about 15 cents. I do not touch OTCs at all, and I don't touch penny stocks. They're penny stocks for a reason. Looks like a little engineered squeeze thing here. All right, I don't touch them. There you go. Can we check Bloom Energy as long as it's not an OTC? Bloom Energy, there it is. BE. What is going on with Bloom Energy? RBC. I have to look into that more. There's your weekly chart. Would not be establishing new long positions up here. If you're long already, fantastic. But this thing, I mean, I actually need to do, from a technical point, I'd be watching for at least a consolidation, if not a partial pullback. I like that PE ratio. Nearly 13,400. I like that. Oh boy. I have no comment besides that comment. From a technical perspective, would not be establishing new longs up here. That's absolutely an insane chart. Would be looking for at least a pullback / consolidation. All right. Let's just peek at the S&P. Oh boy. S&P. Let's just look at this 1 hour again. If we do pull back, we'll be looking for another potential rotation back up unless we start breaking below about at least 650, 65.82. And then I got to still go off this 593 as key resistance. Got to try to chip away at that level. Dark screen, take them off your radar. Don't do it. It's a great way to lose money. Okay? All right, with that, I just got a text I have to respond to with personal stuff, with family stuff. So I have to jump for now. Again, don't do anything silly. 10 a.m., we got consumer sentiment preliminary numbers. Still, there are no shorting patterns. I'm just looking for pullback longs, and unless we start breaking down below the channel. Electronium chart. Electronium? Sure, I can look at it. And then I'm going. There's your Electronium chart. It actually is trading against pretty key support right now. Right here. It's gone down below here and it's right here. Here's your key support level. I take it you want long side. Again, you have a major declining trend line. It's actually going to be a best fit. That's actually your upside resolution. It's got to break out from this descending, but there's lots of stopping points there. Lots of stopping points there. And overall, you're right near that key area. So if it does not hold here, I'd be patient back until 0.0029 is going to be pretty key. If it can break above here, it could go on another push higher. But it's got to, again, if it breaks above that trend line, the next key area, that it's got to sustain again is 0.0035 roughly. Okay, you're welcome, Niche. So you're welcome, MJ. There you go. Other than that, that's about it with Tronium, another crypto. I shall talk to everybody back on Monday. Again, if anything has to be canceled, just subscribe to the X/Twitter feed at MG Arnold, and I'll announce it there if anything has to be canceled. Until then, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye for now.